Hey guys, this is Locke. A lot of people have been asking, what do I do when I get to the Forgotten Memories number 12? Because at that point, I need to bring two different teams, and I only have one healer. I was not lucky enough to pull Bailu, so what do I do to get past this? How do I bring a second healer? Or, well, I don't have a second healer, what do I do? A lot of people have suggested bringing shielders like March 7th on the second team, and maybe even your Trailblazer, and using shields to get past the need for heal. And that really is what you should be doing. And I really want to highlight how the Fire Trailblazer is a very good unit to bring and why it provides a lot of benefits while you don't have a dedicated healer on the team. So let's go through what makes the Fire Trailblazer so good. So if you look at her skill, she basically taunts all the enemies. If you have the male Trailblazer, then it'll be a he, but since I have the female, I'm going to use she. Um, but it basically taunts all the enemies, so if they're not using an AoE attack, they're going to be hitting this Trailblazer. Secondly, this Trailblazer is also, it's going to be hard to kill her because when she's using her skill, she takes reduced damage. By at level 6, it's 45% reduced. Um, on top of this, she actually also, every time she attacks or uses a skill or uses an ultimate, she gives your entire team a shield. That shield is scaling off of the Trailblazer's defense. If you want to take a look at how much defense I have right now, I have 2,865. With this much defense, I'm able to give a shield of 334 to my whole team every turn. Now, 334 might not sound like a lot, especially when you're compared to March 7th shield, but I will tell you in a minute why this is actually making a huge difference for me when I'm going into this into these Forgotten Memory fights. I also want to point out that as you're leveling up at I think it's called Ideolons, you also increase the shield itself. With this, it's giving me another 2% of her defense plus 27, and I'm also using relics that increase both her defense and the shield as well. As you can see, the Knight of Purity place, it increases defense and increases the shield. Some people might use a different relic set instead. They might be using what is it? Nope, not that one. This one. They might be using this one, which reduces the damage taken and also heals her. But I really want to maximize the shield effect because that is keeping my team alive. So that's the reason why I instead went with this set instead. I also want to make out another point here as well. This set that I'm using, it increases defense and increases defense again if the effective hit rate is above 50%. Unfortunately, my effective hit rate is only at 46, which is kind of useless to be honest because she doesn't really do any debuffs anyway, so you might even skip the effective hit rate if you could. It just so happened that the pieces that I got had effective hit rate on it. But if I am able to get it above 50%, that would be great because then I would get even more defense. So what makes her so good? So the way that I built my team is I focused on my main 4 units. So as you can see, my main 4 units are level 60, and the others are level 50 with Sampo at level 46. I just don't have the resources to level them up, ascend them, and I don't even have enough resources to level this guy up to 50. Well, okay, maybe I do now because, nope, I don't. I can only level them up to 48. So as you can see, I don't have the resources to level up the rest of them to level 60. And because of that, they actually have very low health. Like if you take a look at Sampo's health, it's 1,450, and same with her. She has even less, 1,407 health. So 337 shield every turn for units like these is actually huge, right? That's like almost a, what is it, like a 30% shield? No, maybe a 20% shield every turn. So it basically increases their effective hit points by about 20% for units like these. And by using the taunt skill every turn, I'm actually able to make sure that the damage is focused on my Trailblazer. So whenever I'm setting up my team, I'm going to be setting up the team something like this, just to show you an easy example. I'm going to put her on the side. So whenever enemies are attacking her and they're using you attack the unit next to it as well, they're going to be only attacking the unit right next to the Trailblazer. So if I have to bring much weaker units, I'm going to bring, well, I'll at least bring 2 strong units on each team. So I'm going to put Trailblazer and one of my other 3 level 60 units next to her, like that. Well, probably not a Tasha, it'll be a different unit. So I'll probably bring something like this. And then I'll bring the low level units like this. So that way, most of the time, my Trailblazer is getting hit by the single target attack, or it's getting hit by the single target. Sorry, not single target, but splash attack, which would hit the Trailblazer and the unit next to her, which is Hamiko, which has a little bit more health than my other 2 level 50 units. So they're both okay. Whenever the enemy does an AoE attack, yes, my underleveled units do get hit, but the damage is reduced, first of all by the shield, and second of all by the passive that, sorry, not the passive, but by the trace skill that she has, which reduces their damage. So if you look at this skill, whenever the Trailblazer uses her skill, which taunts the enemies, the damage taken by all allies is reduced by another 15%. So the shield basically increases the low level units' HP by about 20%, and then they're also taking further reduced damage by 15% because of the Trailblazer's skill. So having something like this really increases the survivability of the whole team. Like, suppose I did have Bailu. I'm not too familiar with her skills, but suppose she just heals she just heals allies. In that case, like, if I bring the same team, if I bring, like these guys, they might still die. Like, I can see them getting one shot or one rounded by enemies focusing on them, and they have very low HP. So even with she has resurrection, so maybe she might res them once, but what do I do then, right? They'll still probably die quite easily if the enemy is able to one round them, which I don't really doubt they can't do, because in addition to not being at level 50, even their light cones are underleveled as well. They're only level 40. I mean, take a look at all of them. Okay, maybe she has 51, but the others are, okay, she also has 50. But okay, so these two, they have level 40 light cones and are still only level 50. So that's the reason why their HP is so low, and even their attack is not that high either. But that's what I have. That's what I brought, and I was still able to beat all of the Forgotten Hole until level 15 and able to access the Memory of Chaos. So it does work, bringing this kind of setup. I'm actually going to go into one of these to show you. I'm going to go into level 14 and show you kind of how it works. So this was the exact team that I brought when I did this. Brought these guys and her and I believe Sampo. Yep. Yeah, I believe this was the team I brought to do this level. So, and I'm not going to go through the whole fight. I'm just going to go a little bit just to show you how good this is. And another thing that I want to mention is that although you are defending with the Trailblazer, as she's getting hit and everyone is focusing on her, because all these bosses, they start spawning ads. As she's getting hit, she is able to build up her ultimate. So using her ultimate, she is still able to do some damage anyway. The second thing I want to mention is that whenever she uses her ultimate, she also generates the shield as well. So say if there are 2 enemies on the that you're fighting, and one of the enemies hits your low level units and breaks the shield, if she uses her ultimate, like even before it's her turn, she will basically refresh the shield on everyone anyway. So it might come in clutch being able to use that shield in that way. So just a second here as I do this. And I'm going to start the fight and just, show you how, like, with these stats, how easy it is to be able to bring her to these fights. So the reason that I'm bringing these 2 guys is really for breaks. Shushang is really, really good for these breaks. She does a lot of damage. Really don't regret bringing her at all. It would be great if I'm able to level these guys up to 60, but I just don't have, as a free-to-play player, I just don't have the resource to do that. So this is what I have, and this is what I'm bringing. Now with her, most of the time I will want to use this shield, the skill, to basically get everyone to attack her. So as you can see, all of them will recover from their breaks. And imagine if all of these are attacking Shushang or Sampo, they will probably die. Like they're not going to be able to handle this. So that's why bringing a tank with taunt is able to keep everyone else alive, like the whole team alive, right? So it's very important in my opinion. I thought that was really great that that basically everyone has access to it because it's a free unit. So I think it's great that the game gave us such a good unit, um, especially as we don't have a second healer. So here, this is maybe a tip here, but you can very easily just break her in the beginning if you brought this unit, because like as you can see, like bam, and you already did more than 10% damage with just Shushang, right? And she's level 50 with about 1k in attack, so she's like under leveled, but with the breaks and everything, she does so much damage. So that's why I really like these units. Now I'm gonna try to fill up my skill points. And I also have to time myself here because if the boss goes again before her, maybe the boss can attack like Shushang, right? Or Sampo. So I want to make sure that if she is doing a single target focused attack, that she attacks, myself. Sorry, not myself. Attacks the Trailblazer. And then I want to fill up my skill points, so I'm doing that. And that's basically it. Like you can follow what I did, and it really helps with availability. And bringing different damage types, you are also able to um, break the other ads that come as well. You might be wondering why I'm bringing Sampo here and not the other fight where the boss is weak to Sampo. The boss is weak to wind. I specifically brought Sampo here to break this guy because it does so much damage. I really needed my Sealy on the second fight to do a lot of damage. So this is basically the exact composition that I used. I even did a video as well showing my run through. So if you want to take a look, it's the video I posted maybe like an hour and something ago that you guys can take a look at. But I really hope that this video helps you think about building the Trailblazer. Let me just go over some of the relics that I did, just so you can have an idea of it. I didn't go too crazy on it. Here, take a look. These pieces, I mean, so when I was leveling up, I did this over and over. So I have like a ton of these, and I realized that I'll probably be using this for a long time. So I leveled it up to plus 12, which is giving me 45% defense on both these pieces. But the other pieces are like, they're only leveled to 9, 9, 6, and 6. This is a long way to go. The substats might not even be the best. I think this was like a free set that I got. So I really want to farm this at some point and get the yellow set and invest in that. So that's why I'm not really even leveling this up much more. But with that setup, I was still able to get 28, 65 defense. I was very lucky to get this card. I think that's great. And whenever I get hit, my defense increases by another 24%. If I didn't have this card, I would probably be using this card, and this is what I was using. That's why it's level 50, because the wearer is more likely to be hit, and the damage taken is reduced as well. So it doesn't increase your defense. I mean, you ideally want your defense to be increased, so your shield strength would be more. But if you're not able to do that, if you don't have that card, this might be a card to bring instead. Yeah, the other cards are not that great if you don't specifically increase your defense. This might be okay. This also increases defense by 24% as well. This is superimposition level 3. So at level 5, this is actually might even be better. This is 28, so probably 32% defense, I would assume. And then if your HP is lower by 50%, it's another 32%. So you can actually get about 64% defense from this card. So it might be a good card to bring, especially if you don't have this one. So, maybe you can think about bringing this one. It's hard in the beginning because your resources are limited, and then you have to think about, well, do I really want to level up this light cone and bring it instead of this one, for example? I don't know. I mean, I'll leave that up to you. Luckily, I got this, so I didn't have to go that route. Um, so yeah, I hope this video helps you guys. I've seen a lot of people asking in different places, what do I do? I don't have a second healer. So I really hope I've given you some ideas on how to tackle these forgotten memories. And yeah, I mean, if you have other questions or comments, leave them below and I'll do my best to get back to you. And I will see you guys next time. Take care now.